What is going on, everybody? We are here, week 3. Wade Zanketta, Connor O'Neill from Canadian Football Perspective, and All Canadian. It is Panda Week, Wade. It is Panda Week.
You must be super excited for this one. We do have a full slate of games this week. We've got 5 on the docket. So let's get going with the one that you just mentioned, the Panda game. Carleton Ravens taking on the Ottawa GGs from TD Place. The Ravens will be without starting quarterback Tanner DeYoung, who suffered an ankle injury against York. But your Ottawa GGs coming off of a second loss to open the season.
Yeah, still searching for their first win after suffering one to Queens in Kingston last week. The Panda game is always an exciting game. A lot of young talent on both sides of the ball here. You know, Carleton has new transfer, Glode Malale, who we cannot stop talking about. JP Simonkinda is seeming to find his footing. No pun intended there for the Ottawa GGs. The Panda game for me is always a game that comes down to big plays. And I think this year it's just who is going to execute that one more big play than the other team.
And it looks like Tristan Lefebvre will be the guy at the helm for the Ravens without Tanner DeYoung there. Next game on the slate, Waterloo at McMaster. McMaster's home opener, a battle of 2 top 10 teams as McMaster held on to that number 10 spot while Waterloo moved up to 4. Trey Ford, he keeps rolling though. 2 games in, he is certainly making a case for his MVP season.
And he is looking phenomenal. We know what this Waterloo offense is going to bring. It is going to be dynamic. It is going to be hard to stop. We said last week, the way to stop Trey Ford is by stopping his weapons. How do you do that if you're McMaster in this one? Because that is the key to a MAC win.
The key to beating Waterloo is to keep Trey Ford off the field. McMaster needs to start dipping into the run game a bit and really chewing the clock in order to keep him on the sidelines, because when he's there, he can't score. But unfortunately for the Marauders, this Waterloo defense has proven to be very good at getting the ball back to their offense as they fly around the field. So look for that in the McMaster home opener in this 2021 season.
Sure to be a great game. I am very excited for that one. I'm also excited for this next game. We have the Laurier Golden Hawks looking to bounce back against the Western Mustangs, who suffered a week 2 loss to the Guelph Griffins.
And Connor Carasello looking to still be out for the Golden Hawks, but this doesn't change that both teams are trying to avenge what happened in week 2. Obviously, Laurier fell to their crosstown rivals. Western, though, fell to the Guelph Griffins in their season debut. And Western off a loss, always a scary thing for opposing teams to see.
Yeah, it is going to be a tough matchup for those Golden Hawks. Like you said, Western off a loss. I'm sure Greg Marshall is going to be paying attention to even the finest of details in practice this week. So I expect Western to come out rearing to go and not happy about suffering that week 2 loss. It's going to be an aggressive game, to say the least.
And the team that beat Western also playing this week on the road, though, that is Guelph heading to the Windsor Lancers, who had a bye week in week 2. Can Guelph keep it together after the high emotion, really unexpected win from a lot of people's views, except for their own, I'm sure? But can they keep it together going into the Windsor Lancers home for their home opener?
And this Guelph team is young, but that doesn't mean that they're inexperienced. Sean Law, who came over from the CJFL, looked great in his first start. He will be looking to push that again against these Windsor Lancers. I think that Guelph has the talent to be able to pull this win out, especially on the defensive side of the ball. 8 PBUs in that game against Western, and Beeksma with a phenomenal interception. That back end is fast, and the Windsor Lancers are going to need to be aware of their ability to bait the interceptions.
And the Windsor Lancers will have to limit their turnovers that we saw from week 1 if they have a shot at taking down the Griffins. Final game, though, in this week 3 slate, the Queens Golden Gales, newly minted into the top 10 as they take home the 8th spot this week. They're heading to the capital of the province as they take on the Toronto Varsity Blues in front of a sellout crowd.
Certainly no pun intended with that newly minted line. Absolutely none. No, this is going to be a great game. The Gales sitting at the top of the East, a 2-0 team right now. Rashid Tucker looked phenomenal. You called it. Rashid Tucker looked great in that win over the GGs last week. They are going to be leaning on him again. Obviously, we know what the Toronto offense is. Wade, this is your team. How do the Varsity Blues lock up a win coming off the bye?
It starts and ends with that man that you just talked about from the Gales, Rashid Tucker. The Varsity Blues are going to have to sell out to stop this rushing attack from the Queens Gales. But be careful if you try to do so, because Richard Burton and James Keenan have found the end zone twice in 2 games. So we should get a good matchup. And on the other side of the ball for Toronto, we will see Clay Sequeira in his second outing trying to get Nolan Lovegrove, Will Corby, Mike Lehman, and the rest of that receiving core up and going.
That wraps up our week 3 preview for the OUA slate of games this week. It is sure to be an exciting week. That Panda match, as always, is one of the best times of the year. So we will absolutely be on that. You can catch us on Sunday. Yes, on Sunday, we will be back with another version of the OUA show. Wade, fresh off his bye week, so he will be back chopping it up on Sunday with us. And you can catch all the games on OUA TV this weekend.
And if you want to keep up with us, go ahead and follow at CF Perspective, at Connor R. O'Neill, at Wade Zank, are our personal accounts as well, and at OUA Sport to stay up to date on all the games across the weekend.